So I wanted to talk to you briefly about the relationship between nitrogen and calcium. I've had everybody tell me you can't add calcium to a compost pile. You can't do that. It fucks up the biology, fucks up the nitrogen cycle. My experience is if you do, you store the nitrogen. There's some kind of crazy relationship between calcium and the nitrogen that's going to get turned into a volatile organic compound if you don't tie it up. What is your experience with that combination?
Exactly. I keyed into calcium a long time ago. I learned that the calcium is the doorway to allowing trace minerals or to shut it off. So it's just a little bit too much calcium. It doesn't go, the nitrogen doesn't really go away. It just becomes available at a later time. At a time maybe when you don't really want it because too much nitrogen hurts the blooming, for example, if it's done during the wrong time. Certain trees love the nitrogen, but at the same time, too much high nitrogen inhibits the absorption of other other exotic trace minerals. So you have a mineral that because calcium is available in nature in lots of different ways, but also in small amounts and during certain times of the year. So the calcium has to be regulated very, very carefully. If you add too much calcium, if you add too much of anything, that's just calcium. You try to add copper, or you try to add any of these other trace minerals in large amounts, it shuts down the compost because the microbes cannot handle that, and they just say, "Fuck it, I'm out of here," and they won't work. So the calcium is that's why I keyed into milk. Great source of calcium. My mother said, drink your milk, calcium, right? And so that's a great source and in the right amount. So you don't add too much. You can I actually used to spray my compost pile with milk that I add to water and spray it. And I learned that it helps to stabilize the smell, for example, no odors, and the product would cook at a certain temperature and not get too hot. Add too much, it would just slow it down, nothing, get colder.
Yep, and that's my experience
as
well.
So there is a definite relationship with the calcium, and the calcium is the key to it. And to this day, every home that I go to, I do at least once or twice a year, nothing but 10 gallons of milk and 100 gallons of 1/10 to water, and 1/10 of milk, 1/10 to water. And people say fat or no fat, you want it with a fat.
Yeah, of course. And you want raw if you can get it.
Raw, exactly right. Organic.
Pasteurized will work, but it's just not nearly as powerful as raw.
No, and it's a lactose thingamajigger, the lactose thing that really makes it work.
Labs.
It says that calcium in the milk is one kind of draws up rather than benefit. I don't know about.
That's for human beings. That's for human beings.
Yeah, I don't know enough about what calcium does to human beings, but I have a feeling it's the very same thing. You have to be careful where you get your calcium source from.
Well, again, there are sources that are more soluble than others.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. It has to do with how it gets into the system. It's just like how it gets into the plant system. It needs to get into the system in a non-stressful way. If it gets in a stressful way, then the stress becomes noticeable in one way or the other. Whether the fruit looks funny, the leaves will look funny, the flowers will look funny, and then the bugs will start attacking it almost right away. And if you use a refractometer, look at it, the Brix level starts dropping. And you go, what the heck is going on here? That's what's going on.